Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another Immortal stream. We're going to try a little bit something different, something out of the ordinary. I decided to leave Tamriel behind just for a day or so, and I decided that, well, I decided with a little help from a friend of mine, space. So, I want to welcome you all to Kerbal Space Program. Now, I know this game is probably not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but to be fair, I kind of want to stream this and see how it goes. Like, see who it brings in, what makes this interesting, and hopefully, well, hopefully it'll be interesting for you guys to watch. Now, I'm not a complete noob at this. I have played this in like my spare time, but to be fair, it is a kind of a difficult game to understand. So I'll try to explain it as best as I can. I'm not saying that I'll be able to explain it properly. I'll just try to explain it as good as I can get. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new game because I already played this in my spare time. And I'm going to edit the name, so this is going to be live stream space program. There you go, and most likely I'm going to change the difficulty to well, it's either basic or advanced, so I'm probably just going to keep it as normal. Well, as normal as it can get. Actually no, I don't want to change that. I'm going to keep the I'm going to play it in sandbox mode, and I think I'm going to change the flag. Now, because it is kind of based on a lot of real space physics, I think it's only fair that we choose the NASA, the NASA space program. So, now that we got all that sorted, let's get into the game and see where we can be going from there. Okay, so it's just a basic thing, just explain like how the game works. But like I said, I play this in my spare time, so if you want to read like what they're saying, just feel free to pause this back. You know, once it's uploaded to YouTube as a video, then feel free to pause it if you want to read it, and you'll understand how the game works. Okay, yeah, so, like I said, I know the point of the game anyway, so, pretty much we have everything sorted here, like, we have the little astronaut to hire the astronauts known as Kerbals in this. So, you can hire them if you want, and they become, like, proper astronauts. They normally update after each time you come in here, so if you start running out of like Kerbals and whatnot, you can always come back in here and you'll get new ones. Like each one will have like their own statistics on what makes them better. Okay, so next we have obviously the flagpole. That just changes the flag. So the launch pad, the most important part of this is how we're going to get into space in the first place. Then we have the runway, because Kerbal Space Program isn't just a game where you can just have to build rockets. You can build like space planes. You know, stuff that can just fly through the air or even reach even as close as the edge of space itself. So that's what the runway is for. We have the hangar, which allows me to build a sort of plane if I so need to. Also bear with me, I'm just unpacking some food because, to be fair, I haven't eaten much today, so I'm going to be eating while I'm doing all this, so anyways. Next we have the tracking station. So the tracking station is helpful for example, like, you know, if you want to track where everything is, like where each planet is compared to each individual satellite or ship that you have in orbit elsewhere, then you can do that. So I'm going to leave the tracking station and go back to the main baseline, and last but not least, excuse me, is the Vehicle Assembly Building, or VAB for short. This is where we're going to be building our rockets. Now, they always say it's best to start off easy rather than starting off like going with ambitions. Like, you don't want to be kind of going into this game and immediately saying, okay, I'm going to bring this rocket to the moon or to Mars or something like that. It's always best to kind of maybe start off small. So I think one of my main goals for this is I'm going to try and maybe get a satellite into orbit, like a communication satellite, and then we can take it from there to see what happens. I might try and make the end goal as me trying to get my character to the moon, if I can. Also, I do have a special announcement to make in this stream, but I'm gonna wait till maybe a little later to announce that. It's a very interesting announcement I need to give, so I want you guys to hear it. Yeah. Hey Scorch buddy, how you doing, mate? Thanks for popping by to the stream. How you doing? Sorry about that, everyone. I apologize for that long pause. I was just updating my social media about me streaming, so. Okay, we're already 10 minutes in, and I haven't even started yet, so let's go straight into it. Let's see if we can get a satellite into orbit. Yeah, okay. So, for those, like, see what he said, it's just simple instructions of how this works. So, because it's going to be a simple satellite, there's going to be no manned productivity to this. So, I think what I'm going to do is, instead of choosing a capsule, I'm going to choose more of a body that looks like something you would see on a satellite. So you have to forgive me. I'm still kind of getting used to this game because it's not often I actually play it in my own spare time. Well, I do, but it's not often I play it on the console. I do have it on Steam on my PC, which has more easier controls since it's done with the mouse and whatnot. But this is done with a controller, so I think. Oh, there we go. So mainly, this is the body of the little communication satellite I'm going to have. So what we're going to need. Well, we all know that each satellite is going to need like some sort of source of power. So I'm going to put it on like a couple of batteries. Okay, maybe not that big. Are they okay? Yeah, okay, those will be fine. Oh, this little button down here, this kind of locks in the symmetry. So that way you have like symmetry of each of the batteries on either side, so that makes it a little bit more easier. Now, it's okay for the batteries to have a significant charge to them, but they're going to need a source of power, so I think what's going to happen is I'm going to give them like solar panels, so, and I think these are the smaller ones. Like you can get smaller solar panels, or you can get like huge ones, but because it's going to be a small communication satellite, I don't really need it all that big. Okay, that's actually perfect. Those would be perfect for communication satellite, so that would be fine. Okay, so what else do we need? We have the power, and we got the source of power. Like, we have the batteries for the power, and then we have solar panels to allow the charge. So I think what's next is we actually need a communication dish. So I think this will look wrong if you extend all that, because that's just that's just messy. I know it kind of gives an interesting design to like a satellite, but I don't think it's wise. So I think about clipping that just like to the center. I know it doesn't look like much, but when you extend it, you know, with the solar panels out, I actually just noticed that that kind of blocks off a lot of the, I just realized that actually blocks off a lot of the signal for the, for the satellite, or the solar panel, so I think if I was to, if I choose that, okay, it still kind of cuts off a little bit of the power, but not all the cells are like blocked, so it'll still receive power, so that's good. Okay, so far this is the payload is what we'll have, so next we need to actually find a way to protect the payload, so oh, hang on, I just realized something. We're actually going to I think we're gonna move these like up here. Okay, that's good. Because I just remembered something. We're gonna need propulsion. when it comes to these type of things, or like for controls. So we're gonna add on these little RCS thrusters. This would pretty much allow the little satellite to move and pivot on its axis, as well as be able to stay in orbit when it needs. So anyways, now that we got our payload sorted, we're going to need something to protect us. So I think for now, I'm going to attach, oh, that's, oh, hang on, that's, okay, that's coupling, so I need to find a decoupler, so, oh, it's too big. I need a decoupler so that I can break this off from the other, you know, so I can break this off from the rest of the ship. Anyways, so now that we have a means of kinda breaking it off from the main ship, at least now we can start figuring out how we're going to protect it during entry into space. So if I'm not mistaken, it should be, here it is. It should be in payloads. We get a little option here where we can attach this to the decoupler, as it's called, and it's just a kind of a way of protecting it so that, you know, it won't crash and burn when it's entering the atmosphere. So here we have our little payload, protected in its own little cocoon. Okay, so now that we got the payload sorted, I think what I can do is, I think I'll actually decouple this so it becomes a separate piece compared to the rest of the ship. So that will decouple, and I think what I can do is, I can actually decouple it while splitting this off from the sector. Okay, so now that I got that sorted, now that we have that staging sorted, next is the fuel that we're going to need. And if we are going to get this into space, most likely we're going to need a lot of rocket fuel. So I think because most of the fuel tanks are small enough, I'm going to add a little cone to it to increase its size. Oh, and another thing I can actually do with this is I can actually organize it by size, so it makes it just a little bit easier to you see, like, by organizing it, you can tell like what's too large and what's too small. So these would be like the optimal fuel tanks. Okay, so that'll be one fuel tank. So now we're going to attach a little rocket booster to this. Well, when I say little, I mean like too little. Okay, so this should help it kind of stabilize itself in orbit. And because the electrical power runs even when you're in standby, there is a chance that your system can kind of shut down before you even get into orbit, so you won't be able to break anything off. So I think what I'm going to do on top of that is I'm going to add some solar panels. Now, I know these will be a bit excessive, but they do generate a lot of power, so it'll kind of keep the station running while, while it's going into orbit. Okay, so now that we got our first, well, I guess you could call it the first stage done, you can now move on to, simply decoupling this again. So it makes it a little bit more interesting. So okay, so this will decouple at the same time that this little rocket booster here will shoot off, so that way I don't have space junk colliding with each other. I'm going to repeat this process. I think there is a way you can duplicate it. I can't actually remember how it was done, so I think just to speed things up, I'll just replicate it. I'll just I'll just replicate it as I did, so it makes it just a little bit easier. And then obviously for the last stage, we're going to need some more powerful engines, so that's going to pretty expand it out a bit more, so I'll get around to that in just a few moments. Okay, and just going to, that's too small. I'm going to decouple again, and any structural integrity on this one. So I'm going to come back into the fuel tanks and that's a Mark 3. May not be what I was expecting, but it does increase its fuel intake. Okay, so because this has a very unique shape to it, I may have to end up choosing a fuel tank like so. So I'm not entirely sure. I might actually put 2 of these on, just so it increases the fuel capacity, so we can get that first stage even just remotely close to orbit. Okay, so that's going to be our rocket, so I know, like, he has little peaks here that stick out, but I can't really sort that. Like, I don't... Like, I could give it, like, an engine like this, but it's kind of to do remotely with the shape of... You know, kind of, it's remotely to do with the shape of the, you know, of the body of the, spacecraft. So I can't really do anything with that. Okay, so secondly, we're going to need, well, what I would call rocket boosters, or solid rocket boosters, and I think normally on most spacecrafts it's only 2, so I'm probably just going to stick with the usual 2 solid rocket boosters from there. So we need engines and hang on. Can I position? There is a way, like, you can position these carefully. Easy. Okay, there. Okay, so now that we pretty much got the bulk of the rockets sorted. Oh, hang on. It actually needs nose cones, so structural. Let's see. I think there is like a funny trick you can do. I can't guarantee if it works, but you can use these little payload markers as like just like rocket tips. You know, so it's not completely blank. Okay, so obviously this is going to have some trouble trying to fly, so, well, it will fly, it just won't be able to fly straight. So one thing I might have to do is, I'm going to add in some aerodynamics to this flight by adding some, I'm going to add in some like little winglets. And I'm hoping that will, you know, praying to God it will actually help stabilize the flight. But then again, they do say it's all trial and error when it comes to these type of things, so it's just a matter of seeing if they work or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the rocket there, and I'm going to hold, I don't know what the hell I just grabbed there, but it's not what I need. And I'm going to hold the rocket right there. Okay, so now that we got our basic setup, I'm going to move the whole thing down, so, you know, we're not just like crashing and burning when it comes to this. So what I'm going to, hang on, I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to okay, this is as far out as I can move without me getting... Wait, hang on, where is it? yeah, that's as far as I can go. Yeah, I say that could be fine. I'm not saying it's going to be, but if it flies, it flies. So, let's call this, well, I was going to call it TestCom 1, but I don't think that sounds kinda remotely inappropriate. So, I guess we could call it, what can I call it? I guess it's going to be a communication satellite. Like, it's going to be talking to the space station. So, what can I call it? Let's see. If anyone is currently watching, feel free to kind of give any ideas or what names you would like to call this. Since I'm kind of stuck for a name here. Oh, hang on. I think what I could do is, I could actually call it, as quirky as it is, let's call it Bird's Eye. You know, because it's going to, it's going to have a bird's eye view from space with the space station, so that should work. So, before the rocket launches, I just need to double check to see if their staging set. So, that's set. Well, that can decouple with that because obviously. So okay, so those get decoupled with the boosters. I can launch that. See, what I can do is I can actually open up another, hang on. I can open up another window here and throw this. Actually, no, hang on. I can throw them in here, because then that means then this rocket down here will fire first before I release it. That should give the initial push that it needs to take flight. So, the boosters can help with the initial launch, so they can be launched with the staging. So that can fire with the decoupling. Right, so this can work in unison. Then these can get decoupled, followed by the last decouple of the satellite. So I think that's everything. So I think what we can do now is we can actually go to launch and hope for the best that this can actually take off. Otherwise, this is going to be a big flop. Okay, so I need to toggle on the SAS. That gives the stability of the ship so that it's not like wobbling like crazy as it's taking flight. RCS I don't really need right now. I may need it when I get into orbit, so let's see. You have to kind of forgive me. I'm still kind of new to this, so you know what? How about we just launch and see what happens? Oh, already I noticed that the boosters were wobbling, so I think what happened was I forgot to actually structure them or strut them to the actual rocket so they won't be wobbling on the spot, because that's going to get problematic when it comes down to it. So, right. The main thing is the tips of them are aiming inwards, so this will allow me to just go straight up. So what will happen is I'll decouple the solid rocket boosters once the map is done, or once they are done. Oh. Did everything come out unscathed on that? Yeah, okay, it did, thank God. So now I can start tilting my rocket 45 to the right. And I can put that up full blast. I need to open up my map, because otherwise I'm gonna go all over the place here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I need to open up this. Whoa! What the? That was unexpected. Don't know why it's wobbling. Either way, I'm in orbit anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a warp maneuver to here. And basically what that does is it makes it kind of a circular orbit around the planet. So that will make it somewhat better to oh, actually, while I'm actually here, there we go. It needs some sort of power, because what I'm going to do is next is activate the RCS, and I'm going to see if I can tilt it towards the maneuver node. So as you can see, you can actually see the engine kind of spazzing out, because sometimes the physics of this game doesn't like itself. So it says the node is in like T-minus 24 seconds, so that's when I need to actually burn my fuel. So now that I'm in position, we can actually start burning. I guess I could start burning at T-5. Just burn off the rest of this fuel. And then kickstart off this little Kickstarter. Now I don't know how much fuel this one's gonna give, but as long as I can circularize my orbit, I should have just about enough to sustain myself and have this little bad boy functional. So what I'm going to do is, while I'm circularizing my orbit, I'm going to extend out these solar panels, and that's going to give that little extra kick that my rocket's going to need, and then that way I should be good to go. Well, either way, I still have another, I still have like another stage after this, so I can turn off the RCS because they're not going to be needed right now. I just hope now that I can actually keep this going. Because as we can see up at the top, my altitude is still coming down. And the last thing I want to be doing is having my little satellite crashing and burning. Actually, what? Uh-oh. This is gonna be good. Oh! Jeez, okay. They, oh, darn it. Okay, I think this is, yeah, okay, this is, this isn't going, okay, this is, not going well, so, I'm going to revert the flight back to the vehicle assembly, and I'm going to maybe put in a more, how can I say it, more powerful engines, something that can probably get my ship into orbit, because I say my ship at that point was just gonna crash and burn. Anyway, let's see. Let's sort out the scenario first. Actually, hang on. Okay, so we're obviously going to need more powerful engines, so I think what I'm going to do is examine by size, and I'll put the biggest ones first, so, well, don't want them too big, so, okay, I say that will be a more decent sized engine. Now, okay, it kind of adds the extra size to it, but if it means that my ship or my rocket's going to get into orbit, then so be it. Okay, so it just pretty much means I just had to move my I'm just gonna have to just move my rocket a tad bit up, that's all. Nothing major. Okay, maybe move it down a little bit because I think that's a bit high. Okay, that should be perfect. Yeah, good. Now, before, like the staging's fine, I don't have to tweak with this staging. But what I'm going to need to do is, I need to structurize, these boosters to the main rocket because, as we saw, they were pretty much gyrating all over the place, so, you know, can't have that. Actually, hang on. What I'll do is I'll actually duplicate it. So that can attach there. That can attach to this one. And they should be pretty much attached on the top. However, I'm going to also have to do it to the bottom. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus here. So okay, so now I have that done. Structurize that, put that there. Okay, that is good to go. And I'm hoping now with the better engines that I have on it, it should, well, emphasis on the word should, I should be able to take flight. Okay, so first things first, the SAS is turned on. If I'm going to launch it, I'm going to need full throttle. Just need to figure out the controls of what I'm doing. Okay, I'm trying to recall how I brought up that menu the last time. You know, about bring up the... Oh, okay, so by holding down R1 and L1, I could just switch back and forth between the map and the thing. Okay, perfect. Without further ado, let's start. Okay, now you see that's a lot better. Like the boosters are keeping in place, and everything is going straight. So that is perfect for me. Okay. So once the solid rocket boosters are gone again, I'll cut them off and I'll... Oh, hang on. I need to cut down most of the speed so that it takes off what they call drag, so it puts less strain on my ship. Uh-oh, that, okay, that wasn't good. Okay, reverse flight to launch. Hey, Lost Twist Gaming. Welcome to the stream. How you doing, buddy? Okay, SAS on. Yep, okay. Full throttle, and off we go. Well, that was a kind of a disaster a few minutes ago. But, you know, everything happens with science. As the old saying goes, all in the name of science. Well, because the solid rocket boosters get me into orbit, I don't really need to be wasting all that much fuel. Oh, perfect. Okay, so my rocket boosters actually managed to survive the initial onslaught of the solid rocket boosters. Oop. I actually just noticed, well, maybe I should have actually structurized my entire ship, but oh well. Can't do anything on that one. Or can I? Okay, so I need to, uh-oh. Okay, perfect. Hang on. Okay, so I need to add a maneuver node. Okay, perfect. So what I can do is I can warp to the next maneuver. Okay, hang on. I'll actually cancel that for a second because I just remembered. My RCS won't work without electricity, so I'm going to have to. But the main thing is, now that they are operational, right? Now I just have to wait until it comes closer to the time for me to launch it. Okay, this is actually doing a lot better. Okay, I may have overshot it a bit, but, you know. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to point retrograde, actually. Let's see. I'm going to, deploy that, so at least now my satellite is operational. And I think what I'm going to do is just disable. Okay, so now that my little satellite is now in orbit, next is to deploy the solar panels so that he can have a constant stream of energy. There we go. Introducing Bird's Eye. So, now that Bird's Eye is now active and is flying in a high-ish enough orbit, what I can do is I can go into the space station. Let's see, go into debris. Okay, so that debris is already going to crash. And I think there was, if I'm not mistaken, can I fly that? Yeah, okay, I can fly it. Now, I don't know if it's going to crash and burn or anything because I don't think I added RCS to it. But okay, I didn't add RCS to it or a kind of a computer, so this one's probably just gonna go aimlessly along with the satellite that's in orbit. So that little piece is gone. Like that little tiny little dot over there, that's it. That's gone. I completely jettisoned that by accident. Well, I was supposed to try to crash and burn it into the planet, but oh well. It's kind of it's gone into interstellar space at this stage. It's going to keep going in that direction. So yeah, okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the tracking station and just terminate. There won't be much point terminating this debris, even though I think what we can actually do is we can terminate that and terminate that. And you know what? Just for the fun of it, let's watch this crash and burn. Hey, Midnight Wolves, welcome to the stream, buddy. How you keeping? Oh my God! Look at that! I was not even expecting this to even do this when I came in here. Wow. Oh. Okay, that's gone. And I literally just turned this into a bullet at this stage. Oh my. Weird enough, it's actually slowing down. Like, what the But I've just been outside the garden all day. Yeah, it's definitely a day for it, I can tell you that much for sure, mate. Like, okay, hang on a second. Is this actually slowing... This is actually slowing down. Like, what the if this actually goes under a certain limit, this could actually end up landing safely. You know, I actually wouldn't be surprised if this actually does land safely. I could end up using this as a reusable source. Although I think it's just going to blow up the moment it hits, like, the water. Oh well, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm actually going to just watch this. I really want to see, like, does it crash and burn or does it actually survive? If this survives somehow, I would be very impressed because this is supposed to be destroyed. Oh no, hang on, it's coming down with at 110 meters per second, so nah, this is gonna crash and burn. Yeah, this is gonna crash and burn, and it's gonna hit hard. Like 100 meters a second. Yeah, that's gone. Yeah, there we go. That is as good as gone. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. What matters is our little eye in the sky is now active. This little buddy right here is going to be in charge of what goes on with the rest of this space program of mine. So, this little guy is in charge of all communications between whatever ship or rocket I send up into space, and that's the connection to the planet. Right. Okay, so now we got our first satellite up within the first hour of the stream. I think what we can do is next is... I say we could attempt maybe to make a mission to the moon. Because, like... Whoa! That's bite. Okay. Let's turn them around. Okay, there we go. Good as gold. Okay, so... And just let me put that down. This little buddy here is now active around the planet. And as you can see, he is in a... I guess you could call it a high planetary orbit. So, the next one to go for is... I believe is the moon, which is there. Now, I will admit one thing. Of all the times I've played this, I have landed astronauts on the moon. I just kind of find it difficult to get them back off. So normally, if I was to send someone to the moon, it's going to be a one-way trip. That's why I would normally try to set up as maybe like have them have a lunar base. So at least the lunar base would make it more tolerable while they're trapped there. So, also sorry for making those people dizzy. But you know what? I think before we move on, I think it's safe to say I'm probably going to give this announcement now, because if I don't, then it'll probably be too late to say it anyways. But for those of you who have been hanging around my streams lately, you may have heard me once or twice state that I have two different consoles, a Xbox One and a PS4. So with both, I have the streaming capability of streaming on both of them. Now, the best announcement I can give for now is I've partially got a lot of things set up with my Twitch account with the Xbox, so maybe every couple of days, maybe even on weekends, I might stream on Twitch through the Xbox, so it'll kind of give more of a variety of what I can play. Now, the streams here on YouTube are going to stay the same. Like, I'm going to keep doing these streams, but I may do a couple of odd streams here and there on, on Twitch. Kind of give some more of a variety to this channel. Furthermore, excuse me. Furthermore, I'm going to kind of focus my attention on trying to stream on both channels if I can. So feel free to leave them in the description below, and give me kind of suggestions of what you would like to see, because the more I'm able to stream, the more I'll be able to provide for you guys, so you get more of an enjoyment out of these streams. But anyways, let's start on the next fantastic starship. Excuse me. Forgive me on that one. Didn't mean to actually cough loudly into your faces that time. Let's see. So let's go back into the vehicle assembly building and see what's there to offer. Excuse me. Okay, so we found out that excuse me. Okay, so we may have found out that our previous ship managed to get us into orbit. But now if we're going to be sending people to the moon, we're going to need something bigger. Or at least something with a lot more fuel, compared to those little whimsy, compared to little tiny, compared to the tiny, boosters that we had, and little fuel that we had. To get to the moon, we're going to need something bigger, more powerful. Now, what's interesting is, this game comes with a lot of pre-made, comes with a lot of pre-made rockets already pre-made. So now not all of them are going to be like incredibly big or going to be powerful. Most of them are just like, for example, this is just like a tiny little this is a tiny little rocket that would have just got, like a simple box satellite into orbit. Nothing major. So let's see if we can find something. Oh geez, that's not good. Again, it's not that great. That's not really gonna get far. That's more like a orbiter with the intention of turning it maybe into a like a space station. So let's see. Let's see if we can find our craft. Well, that's another survey satellite. That's not what we're looking for. Let's see. Like, I would love to say maybe the Kerbal X might be the ship that could get us into orbit. But judging by the way it is, it looks like it can get us into orbit, but it looks like its main intention is that it gets us to orbit, but it makes us come back. So let's see. So, what do you guys think? Do you think I should maybe try to send them to the moon, or do you think I should try to send these astronauts into orbit and then try to see if I can bring it back safely? What do you think? You know what I'll do? Since mainly the stream is quiet, I think what I'll do is I'll try to send these astronauts into space, and I'll try to land them successfully if I can. Like, I'll see if I can make them come back alive, so to say. And if we do, we can count that as maybe a successful. You know, we can count that as a successful. Well, a successful mission. Then maybe after that, I might actually just switch game. You know, kind of make it more interesting for you guys, because I don't think, from what I'm seeing so far, it's not sounding interesting playing this for you guys, you know. So, I think what we'll do is we'll just launch it and see how it goes. Okay, so I need to cut the engines down to relieve tension off of the ship. And I'm going to start turning the ship at a 45-degree angle. And I can also bring this back up. You know, since we're past the major part of the atmosphere, so. Oop, there we go. Oops, I forgot about that. Right, so. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to add this little maneuver node. Right, so if I can bring these guys back to Earth safely, then that'll be a huge success. Let's speed up the process and warp to the next destination. Right, so seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so at least they're in orbit now. So the next thing I'm going to do is maybe give them one more deorbit, and that'll be that. I'll try to see if I can land it on the bright side of the Earth. So right now, I think there is a way you can like speed things up a bit. So alright, so once the sun shows itself, then okay, there. I'm just gonna keep on burning until alright, let's warp here, Sally. Looks like I'm gonna land in the water. So oh, here I come, I'm coming into orbit. Oh, that got shot down like a bullet. And that's gonna hit hard. Okay, so I'm gonna open up this parachute, and then it'll really slow me down. Well, I'm hoping anyways. Oh, that was a close one. Okay, good. Well, I must say I say that was a huge success. Yep. There we go. And apparently I got a trophy for that too, so that worked out just perfectly. So I can recover the vessel now, so let's do that. bring it back to the space station. Okay, perfect. I think what I'm actually going to do now is, guys, is I'm going to switch game. So this is going to be the end of this broadcast, but just keep refreshing my page. I should be back online within 1 or 2 minutes with a new game to play. So I will see you guys in hopefully the next 2 or 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere.